Hi, this is Charles from Beyond Tools. Just here to show you about the changing the belts and the sandpaper on these Tough Cut / Salida dual drum sanders, the SL series. There's a couple of different models, just different widths. So there's a 600, there's a 900 one. So first of all, the machine will come with a few tools. So it'll come with just a standard Phillips screwdriver, these two little brackets for keeping tension on the belt, and then some Allen keys. So first thing we do is we lift up the lid, and you can see obviously our sanding drums. So on the end of these drums, there's this aluminium collar, which is on a spring, you can see here, which keeps tension on the belt to stop the belt from being loose and then not keeping tension, so then you have bubbles. So there's one on each side, there's one on this side, and then there's the exact same on the other side. So you can see we've got our clip here which holds on the sandpaper, then our spring here, and you'll see in this little hole in this spring, this bolt down here, there's a hole in the middle of it. So I'll show you what that's for. So the first thing you do is you get these little what do you call them, clamps, and the way they work is the Allen key end of the screw goes in this end, and then we tighten it up. What this does is this pulls tension on the spring, and you can just slightly see the sandpaper is now loosening off, because basically what we've done is we've pulled that tension, so that spring now isn't doing anything. It's keeping it clamped in this tightest position, so then when we fit our new belt and release, it'll pull itself tight. So we have one on this side, and we've also got one on the other side. So we do the same thing. Open the door a bit easier. So same thing. The spring is sort of in its almost maximum position here. It may be further down on your machine. If it is, what you can do is if you grab the sandpaper, and then you can move the drum into the position and then clamp it on if you find that you can't get this on in the little gap, like let's say the hole might be down here. So same thing, put the screw in, tighten that up. That'll pull it. You can see, kind of just see it's pulling it tight, and now the sandpaper is loose. So that's pulled the springs into their tightest position, and you can see we're now all loose on the sandpaper. You can also put your screwdriver in this end if you need to pull that down, and then you can pull it and then fit your, then you can put your screwdriver in there, pull it, and then that will then allow you to get this bracket on into the nice tight position if it's out of position. So now we just take off the clip, which can be sort of one of the trickier parts of it because they are quite tight. So we'll pull the clip off, one here, and then same with on this end. Got the exact same thing. This side can be a little bit more tricky because you've got the pulleys. That's them. And then we just unwind our sandpaper. Now it's super important with your sandpaper that you keep this angle, okay? If you don't have that correct angle, then you will struggle getting your new sandpaper on. You'll see we've got the same on the other end but the opposite side. So what we always suggest is your first bit of sandpaper is take it off, the one that came with the machine, lay it down on the floor. You can either make a template with some 3mm MDF, and then that keeps it there, or you keep this one sandpaper that you trace and you cut your next bits of sandpaper so they're always the same. If your sandpaper width is slightly different, you will have to muck around with the angle a little bit to get it right, but it's the same sort of thing. You've just got a bit of trial and error putting it on and off. So when you've got your new sandpaper, or you can see the drums here, you can see what it looks like. So that's that collar, that spring. What I might do actually is take this off just to show how this works. So you can see, this is what I was talking about, that spring that keeps tension on it, and you got the same on both sides. So when you want to re-tension it again, if you've moved that, you can put the screwdriver in, pull the drum back, and then fit your little jig on that holds it in position. Just tighten it up so it's nice and tight. So now we're ready to fit our new bit of sandpaper. So we start on one end. Preferably the left-hand side's a better side to start. So sandpaper goes on. And then we get our little clip. So we just hold that over and feed that on. As I said, the clip is probably the toughest part. Might need something just to help assist getting it on, sorry. So I'm just using it sort of to lever itself. Okay, so we've got that, that's now on. And then we start to roll our sandpaper onto the drum. So we can start to position it. And you want to set it so your sandpaper, the gap is as minimal as possible. You don't want it overlapping because then it's not going to sand properly, but you want it as close as possible. So we can get it on and then just start rolling it. You can see it's going on. And meanwhile, just keep sort of pushing it up against itself. Okay, so now come around this side, we're back here, so we can feed that clip on. So our clip again. So you can see we do have a bit of play in this belt here, which is fine, and that's the reason we've got those springs there. So the most common mistake is people don't set the spring tension and they put the belt on and then they've got this here, and when they start to sand, it just destroys the sandpaper in no time. So you'll see if we rotate it around. Now, if you don't have these brackets, you've lost them or whatever, you can still do this process without it. You just sort of feed the screwdriver in and you just pull the drum back, clip it on, and then release it. You can do it, it's just a little bit more tricky because obviously you might need an extra pair of hands, someone to help you. So as we loosen this, you'll see it will start to turn the drum. So this is currently loose, and you'll see it'll start tightening up. So now that looseness is gone because that spring is putting tension on the belt, pulling it forward, so we don't have that bulge anymore. And then we do the same on this side. Keep, making sure you get rid of any of that play that is in it. Same thing on this side. And that's it there. And now that you can see, we don't have any of that movement in our belt anymore. It's all nice and smooth and we're ready to start running. As you start using it, you might find it loosens up a little bit, but generally you've got enough spring tension that'll hold the tension on that. And that's it, that's changing the belt. It is a bit tricky the first few times you do it, but once you've done it a couple of times, you've got the hang of it, it's actually not too hard. But yeah, people do get a bit put off the first few times because it can be a little bit fiddly. Yeah, so that's it there. And if you've got any questions or anything, just put it in the comments section and we'll be sure to answer them for you. Thanks.